on Ash vs. Evil Dead, Season 2, Episode 10. This episode is called Second Coming, another episode I love. Spoilers for everything Evil Dead leading up to and including this episode. The episode is rated TVMA, so will this video be, and let's dive right in. So, yeah, yet another excellent season finale. They're 2 for 2. I really appreciated the season 1 also had some very clear nods to the second movie, like with the hand, for example. But yeah, this one bringing back possessed Henrietta, even having, I forget, I want to say they call it the apple core face, with the elongated neck. Let's see, and yeah, someone is pulled through the steps of the stairs down into the pit, the cellar. So yeah, quite appreciated that. Yeah, very cool that Ash fires both barrels directly into possessed Henrietta, and she just spits out the pellets. I want to say they're called shotgun pellets. That was great. And yeah, it was really great seeing the apple core head again. I am almost confident that they used CG to extend the neck. I 100% understand that. It is, I don't have personal experience with stop motion, but I am aware it is, like, it's either a labor of love or it sucks ass to have to do. It's really, yeah. And yeah. I think that might be about, yeah, really messed up when let's see if I can get her name right. Tanya. I will say I was glad they had at least a little bit more. The moment that she, we saw the massive explosion of blood, I thought, oh, I guess that's the end of her, which is too bad because I do really like Sarah West's performance and the writing for the character. But she did pop up briefly, blood covering her face. That was really messed up. Let's see. Yeah, I really loved that Bill was hiding in Pablo's body. That's very clever. And yeah, once Ash, basically Bill just needed Ash to get under the influence so that Ash would believe, although knowing Ash, he might believe it anyway, that, oh, this is a really good idea, it's, but yeah, in reality, it was Bill puppeting the dead body of Pablo to tell him to travel in time. Really like the bit where the hand grows back and he doesn't even get to keep it for very long. It gets chainsawed back off. Yeah, let's see. Right, I appreciate that, once it comes back, he's like, a brand spanking new hand, or a brand new spanking hand. Wow. And let's see, right, I liked Pablo's line, which you only realize in retrospect, but he says, I remember my death, but it's like it happened to a different me, and once we realize it's Bill hiding in disguise, yeah, skin job kind of deal, yeah, it happened to another Pablo. Really glad to see Chet back, and yeah, it's not Evil Dead if there's not a Raimi abusing Bruce Campbell. And let's see, I like that, they brought back Lee Majors as Brock, and he's trying to tell Ash something, although by the end it does, he wasn't really there because the chainsaw appears in his place. But yeah, I mean, someone writing for this episode must have really liked that bit, because that's also, right before he died, he was like, I should have told you this long ago, and then, run over the the eyes, his body explodes from being run over. And here he's like, you weren't ready to hear this before, but you are now. Ash, would you let me talk? And right, really, really loved the bit where the oh right, I guess I should. So we now see the person, in the woods that must have been 80s Ruby, or I think the subtitles call her Dark Ruby, which, yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with 80s Ruby. In retrospect, my theory is ridiculous, so I'm gonna engage in a little bit of self-flagellation here. I thought that it was Pablo who had been possessed by one of the Evil Dead, since, they can survive a lot. And now that the Evil Dead are back in play, I thought maybe, but yeah. No, it was 80s Ruby, who I understand, I listened to the commentary track for the episode right before this one. That was supposed, or, no, that was her. A lot of people didn't realize it, but that's her watching, we get a shot, when they're in the 80s, we get a shot from inside, like a diner or something, maybe bar, whatever, and there's someone who's, like, watching the ghost beaters. That's actually 80s Ruby, and yeah, they in the commentary track they said, and absolutely no one picked up on that. I do think that was a tiny bit too vague. I like that when Ash sees her, like, clearly this is a different person, like, she's got, the way she's presenting herself is very different, her body language and such. But they do the cliche joke of, guy can't, did you do something to your hair when, like, obviously there's more? And yeah, in this case, yeah, I mean, there is something was done to her hair. I really loved when Bill and Ash start having, like, a dick measuring contest, and both Ruby and Kelly are like, are you fucking serious, to to their respective, in it together male, and I really appreciate, I recently rewatched a movie. I suppose I shouldn't say which it is because it's a spoiler, but there's a non-zero amount of American movies where you see, like, the right hand of the villain be like, wow, that's kind of messed up, to something the villain is doing, and then by the end, they still haven't turned on them, and it's like, then what's the no, don't. Setup without payoff is so frustrating. And here, yeah, there's payoff. This is not the first time we've seen Kelly be really frustrated with Ash. And, Ruby, like the Ruby we know, yeah, Ruby we know is, she has previously expressed, Bill's a real asshole, the persuasive power makes you vulnerable, but, once you get to know him, don't judge a book by its cover. Get to know him, then realize what an asshole he is. And yeah, here, because yeah, as she points out, they're gonna have this, ego, like, it's pure toxic masculinity. They're gonna have this ego stroking fight, and they don't even ask the women that it affects, how do you feel about this? Maybe strategize or something. Let's see, and yeah, they're gonna defile and devour you. Wait, I did not hear anything about defiling. Oh, trust me, it was implied. Yeah, this deal's getting worse all the time. And let's see, I think that, yeah, a lot of great stuff in the fight between Ash and Bill. The various, using of other people's appearance, Chet realizing, I mean, we were friends, but you killed my girlfriend, or, yeah, it was something like that, and also shoving his head into the piano and then plinking the keys, and using Cheryl, which yeah, I will never turn down Ellen Sandweiss reprising her role as Cheryl. Just phenomenal. I really like when they went like they were like fencing with chainsaws. That was great. Right, I quite like the bit of tension when Kelly is, she's eyeing the ceremonial dagger, but Ruby's kids are right up there watching her carefully, and Ruby's somewhat got her back turned, and yeah, she ends up going for it, and in classic Evil Dead fashion, attempted heroics just leads to failure and embarrassment, as the kids, they weren't really meaning to, but they do kind of turn her into a yo-yo for a little bit there. They like drop her and then pick her up and get her back up and then drop her. That was, yeah. For Dana De Lorenzo's sake, I do appreciate that it didn't try to, go around the world or walk the dog or something. I think that might... Oh, right. Lucy Lawless, phenomenal acting. She really manages to make the two Rubies separate. Right. Also, yeah, now that there's two of you, would it technically be a threesome? Because you're the same person. Oh, wow. Emma's really gotten bonked in the head. I'm seeing two Rubies here. Ash, Kelly is right there. If you were seeing double, there'd be two Kellys as well. I'm seeing double here. 4 Rubies. But yeah, that was very, very Ash. And Ruby is sitting there, and Ash like does the thing where close the lid, and she's like, "I'm not dead, you asshole." And let's see, I just wanted to talk about how like a dash of racism. Is that a strong enough reference? Are people gonna get it? Because it's kind of a big spoiler for that movie. Yeah, or maybe she says, "I'd just like to say a few words," and then she just says random words that she just likes the sound of. I think that just about, yeah. So that brings us to the ending, epic finale with the entire cabin burning down, like hell opening up below the, because it's one thing for the what are those called? They are called floorboards. It's one thing for floorboards to separate. That by itself does not mean hell, but there's like fire underneath the floorboards, Yeah, I really appreciate this is actually one of those endings that somewhat could serve as an actual ending. So it's possible it was written with them thinking, I don't know, maybe we're not going to get more, so let's make sure, because there's just enough, but at the same time leaving the door open, because Ruby is still there. 80s Ruby is there in what has to be the present, considering Linda is there, and and not like, what was it, 20, 30 something decades younger. And that's also, we don't need to see them travel back to the future, as quite appreciated that Kelly outright name drops, though no one in the vicinity picks up on it, but inside the show. But the spell for traveling. Oh, they might actually have said that the spells for traveling back to the present are also on Pablo's skin. And actually, I suppose without Ruby, could they be? Maybe. Or is it because the book was destroyed in the cabin, then they were automatically transported back? Anyway, yeah, and the post credits, reveals there's this young woman finding the book next to the completely destroyed. So this has to be in the present because the book looked much nice. The car looked much nicer, and yeah, with all this time, it was enough for the book to rise back up from the ground, which swallowed it. And yeah, that is Nobi's car. So yeah, there's just enough that they can easily pick up on in season 2. But if they it's season 3, Jesus Christ, if they hadn't gotten a season 3, this would have been a perfectly fine place to end. Like, you would still have wanted some follow up, but maybe it could be in like comic book or short film or something. Yeah, let's see, they could like crowdfund for a short film that ties up these loose ends. But it's obvious they were very happy to get a third season of the show. And yeah, I've enjoyed Reformed Ruby, but I do really, really like Evil Ruby also. So I'm glad that, because I don't think she's stopped being evil. I get the sense that she's, although I suppose it could be, but yeah, she's definitely not very fond of Bill anymore. But that by itself doesn't mean, she wasn't, she was still evil without Bill in the first season near the very end. So yeah, I feel like there's at least one more thing I wanted to say. Right, I like the big celebration, very American, this thing, woo, you used violence to make us all safe, which, like, I can appreciate, yeah, he did save the world. I'm not entirely sure how he proved that to everyone. Oh, right, Jesus. Linda is there. She saw all this stuff. She may have even heard the message he shouted out the car window. But yeah, that's she trusts him to not claim that. And there's also she has some rapport by this point with, I want to say it was Kelly, who they fought off. Yeah, so that's probably right. I like the bit of, Kelly, forge your own path, and let's see. I think that might be about. Oh, right, for the time travel. Although I guess he could be lying, but Bill in Pablo's body said, "Oh yeah, I can, read us back into the present." I think that might more or less. Oh, right. Very cool when Ash slash, the skin off Bill, so he's just standing there just with muscles exposed. And that might be, yeah. The celebration, I love the 3 Force ghosts standing there. I'm glad I was able to get this before George Lucas got his hands on it and replaced Brock with a younger version played by an actor who does perfectly fine elsewhere, but that we just weren't quite as emotionally attached to as the other one. And yeah, I love that even when Ash, like, dude, this crowd loves you, and he's still like, you guys are a bunch of assholes. And you can hear like a baby crying, like, which is just so wonderfully absurd. Like, I mean, there's no way that baby, unless that baby has truly shitty parents, there's no way the baby understands the word asshole. But just like the fact that he made a baby cry is just, fuck me. Yeah, the let's see. Right, and yeah, Ash shouts, I was still I was still an outcast, and someone shouts, "Yeah, you were." I appreciate the enthusiasm. I don't think that was the most fitting time to shout something encouraging. And yeah, just, the entire speech is great. I like that, he does call over, he's like, "Come on over here," and, big side hug, Christian side hug for the rest of the ghost beaters, the living ones anyway, which, fair enough, you don't want to hug the dead ones. And I think that is all that I... Right, yeah, did not see coming that he was going to say, I'm moving back to, I think it's called Elk Grove, his hometown, for good. He's not going back to Jacksonville. And... Right, I appreciate the really gnarly birth of one of Ruby's children. That was very appropriately disgusting. Oh, right, and, Ash, trying to help, being like, "You're gonna end up killing your children," and our Ruby is like, I was gonna build up to that. I didn't want to just, I'm trying to win her over to our side. If you say that that includes killing her children, that's going to make it much more difficult to convince her, And I think that... Right, I appreciate this detail, which, no reason why it couldn't work like that, but once they change time, like, Pablo was in two pieces, and he's just fine. They don't have to, like, sew him back together. And when the hand comes back, it also he just takes off the chainsaw and the hand is fine. It wasn't, like, crushed under the, because where the hand is supposed to be, the chainsaw was. So, let's see. And yeah, that is all that I noted myself. Right, so yeah, IMDb trivia for this episode. Ray Santiago wanted to be naked at the end of the episode. He actually got his request, but was disappointed the shot of buttocks didn't make it in the final cut. I was actually thinking that, and I was like, oh, is Ash going to be like, I don't want to hug a naked guy, or something. But yeah, because yeah, he's digging his way out of the ground the same way we saw Ruby do, and I suppose, yeah, there's probably something about this. They presume that the audience is more interested in seeing Lucy Lawless naked than Ray Santiago. And let's see. Yeah, someone noted Ted Raimi is listed in the closing credits as both a regular cast member and a guest star. He's considered a regular for his role as Chet and a guest star for portraying possessed Henrietta. Among the different names for hell that Ball mentions, one of those is Tartarus. Lucy Lawless portrayed Xena, a Greek warrior princess who in more than one episode of the Xena series has visited Tartarus. Very nicely done. And apparently the marching band, playing to celebrate Ash's victory, is playing the Michigan State University fight song. The cast and crew of the Evil Dead films have numerous ties to MSU. And let's see, someone notes, second time Ash has distracted an enemy before defeating them. And I think that is all that. Yeah. Oh, my virgin hand! It hasn't even held a beer! You defeat me, we accept exile from this realm, and your friend shall be returned. Okay? You defeat me, I guess all kinds of bad crap's gonna happen for a long time. Got it.